Oh hey, didn't see you there. In this video, we're going to be talking about flagship speed cubes. Flagship speed cubes are basically the top of the line, best of the best speed cubes you can purchase at any moment in the market. For example, this GAN X, at its prime, would be considered a flagship cube, which was around early 2019. In around early 2019, this was probably one of the best cubes on the market. Personally, I don't enjoy the GAN X as much as, let's say, the GTS 3, which is another flagship cube. But hey, it's a GAN cube. It performs really well. It's really smooth, really quiet, but it's also expensive. That's what I need to get into today with this video. Flagship cubes is not more of like the product itself. It's more of an idea. So how it works is you can basically take any cube, and as long as you consider it a flagship cube, it's a flagship cube. But there's some cubes that more people consider flagship than others. I wouldn't call the Dian Tangyuan, for example, a flagship cube, but the GTS 3, GTS 2, Bulk, Elite, those are flagship cubes. Currently, flagship cubes are probably the most expensive and have the most customization options or the best performance or the best features. But let me tell you, if you're just starting off with cubing, just don't buy a flagship cube. Here's why. The thing about flagship cubes is companies such as GAN, Moyu, Yushin, etc., they will tend to pump out around 1 to 2 flagship cubes a year. And if you're just starting out, let's just say sub a minute or so, but not yet sub 40. If you're just starting out, you wouldn't want to buy a flagship cube because by the time you do reach sub 30, the flagship cube will kind of have been tutoring your weaknesses. Okay, for example, if I was just starting out cubing and I was around 40 seconds to each solve, right? I probably, or not 40 minutes, but 3 minutes, let's just say per solve, I'd probably not know many finger tricks. I'd probably use entire wrist turns to turn the cube and such. But the reason for that is because my turning style isn't yet adapted to something good. So the optimal thing you would do is buy a budget cube. And budget cubes tend to have worse corner cutting than flagships. And that's where you learn the good habits of accurate turning style. If you start off with a high-end, really nice cube, you will start to develop bad turning habits, and you will need to rely on corner cutting a lot more than anything else. I tend to find if you do focus more on getting the expensive cubes first, you tend to prefer the faster cubes because they will tutor to your, let's say, more aggressive turning style. But if you start off with budget cubes, you will tend to like things that are more stable, more controllable. Me, myself, I tend to like things that are more stable, more controllable, even though I started using the GTS 3M because I knew what I liked. I tried the GTS 3, I liked it a lot, so I decided to get one, even though I wasn't really fast. And I did realize after some point that I had really bad turning, so I decided to switch to a really slow cube, the MGC, the original MGC, keep in mind. It was slow as a turtle, right? And that sort of got my turning back on track, and afterwards I can basically turn like really fine. Like my turning isn't like super bad or anything. It's not inaccurate. And I see this even in examples of the kids who go to our cubing club. Some of them have the tendency to reach for the faster cubes instead of the slower cubes just because of the fact that it tutors more to their turning style. And we can really see that buying a flagship cube early on isn't going to benefit you in the long run. You're just going to end up wasting money buying the next flagship cube that's coming out in like 8 months or so. Okay. With all these reasons, this is basically why, this is just a short video. I'm going to end it off here. This is why newer cubers should not be buying very expensive flagship cubes. This is why, if you're a beginner, you should probably start off something like the Yushin Little Magic, the MF3RS series. that entire lineup is filled with really nice budget cubes. Maybe even the Yushin, or not Yushin, what was it, YJ Yulong V2M. That's also a really good option. The Kylan V2M is also really good. There are a lot of really good budget cubes. Just signing off. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you're a new cuber, I don't suggest you buy a flagship cube just yet until probably around sub 30, sub 35, around there. That's a good spot to get your flagship cube in. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.